Abbo had to explain that step 5 thing, because I'm not sure I get it still.
Okay, yeah, likewise, I was jotting down bits and pieces, but I think that it seems as though logistically it's going to be more complicated for clubs like yourself to get around the country.
I think it's, on average, I think like the local teams and as well as Yaxley, I include Holbeach, Peterborough, Northern Star, Blackstones in that. I think it averages out well over 10,000 miles a year extra, which is crazy. You could forgive me for saying that the FA are not really sure what they're doing, but I think that most football fans know that, whether they support Yaxley or not.
Okay. When were you first made aware of the FA's plans to scrap the Premier Division of the UCL?
There's quite been rumours for a while now, and you kind of think, well, you look at the calendar, because it's hard enough getting to Deeping on a January Tuesday night. To get to Great Yarmouth away on a January Tuesday night, it's ridiculous for the players, who obviously all have jobs. Yaxley are not, Premier League wages, so much as I'm sure they'd all love 80, 90 grand a week, they're not getting a fraction of that. So they'd have to take time off work to travel to these further away fixtures. It seems like the FA have kind of made a decision. They've looked geographically and thought, yep, okay, the teams in Peterborough can be dumped into an eastern county. Then that's fine, because you could play March, you could play Wisbech, you could play Ely. But as Abbo rightly pointed out, you could be going to deepest, darkest Suffolk, and logistically, it just seems like a decision that's been made, at Wembley without any, real practical experience of how the history of the league, for starters, and how, it works in the local community. It's great to have a rivalry with teams elsewhere in Peterborough, but some of them, Boston, for example, Boston Town, are getting dumped in a league where they're going to be going to Bridlington. So there's a good community spirit, I think, in local football in Peterborough, and I think that's borne out by the fact that when Posh are away, all of the local teams' crowds go up, their gates go up, and I think that's because there's so many derbies and fans can relate to a game between a team in Stamford and a team in Yaxley.
So you talk really passionately and articulately about the issue, James. Is anybody sort of presenting this argument to the FA?
Well, I know that there's been certainly meetings with the UCL committee. I know that there's a petition online, which I'm sure that Yaxley Club President will be pleased if I mention, look on yaxleyfc.com to have a look for that. So it's a case of gathering as much information back as possible, as long as the clubs are all coherent and joined up, which, across the city, I think all of the clubs are pretty much on the same page. I think there's a chance that, whether the FA have made their decision or not is fine, but I think there's a chance to make enough noise that this decision can be at least reviewed rather than rubber stamped.
And it's such a shame, isn't it? Because there's such a community within local football, isn't there? And to have this put upon you, this stress, you don't have to be anxious about, getting to this fixture or that fixture and being able to afford to get there and back. You just want to enjoy the culture of playing football with friends.
Well, absolutely. And I think that, take Yaxley as an example. When I first started going, they played in Middleton's Road Rec. I sat on a deck chair with my granddad and watched them. Now they've got a fantastic stadium. They've got, brilliant social facilities, social club. They've got a team on the pitch who are, performing against teams like Kings Lynn that can get 800-900 fans a week. Yaxley can match them with sort of 60-70 fans a week. So goodness knows what we could do, if a few more people could get down and support them.
Indeed. So, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Also,
absolutely
talking about Yaxley in the next hour of the programme, but on a less romantic, on a more real estate footing. So it'll be interesting to discuss that as well. James, do keep us in touch with this. And
yeah, no worries.
And all the best to you and everybody at Yaxley Football Club.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on, Andy.
Cheers. Take care. That's James Warrener, Yaxley Football Club, lifelong fan, man and boy. We contacted the FA to ask if someone could come on, but they sent us